Hi, this is Carrie Jeske, and I'd like to talk to you a little today about the cash flow statement. I know a lot of people now have access to China, and there's a lot of U.S. manufacturers that are willing to do short runs with inventor products. So it's very, very important that you understand the cash flow statement. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what is it, how do you get it, why is it important, and how can you leverage it. So first of all, what is it? You can go online and look up cash flow statement. It's basically one of the 4 key financial statements that's used to run any business. Any accountant will know of it. If you have a bookkeeper, they are well equipped to provide it for you. But most startup inventors do not have those people on hand. And so often you're not aware that it even exists or how you might be able to use it. So what you can do is, once you look it up online or talk to an accountant or take an online class, it's basically a report that manages when the money is going out and when the money is coming in. And this is very critical to anybody starting their own business who has bought a bunch of product and now you're looking to sell that direct. It's important with direct sales, but if you decide to go into wholesale retail sales, it is absolutely critical. And it is actually the number one mistake inventors make when they try to venture their products, in my book, that I've seen happen. And I myself made some tremendous missteps 25 years ago when I first started with my product with the cash flow statement. So it's near and dear to my heart. So you know what it is and you know how to get it, but basically, why is it important? Here's what happens. When you're venturing a product, you have paid your manufacturer usually 100%, and then you have the product in your garage and you're ready to sell it. So you're selling it direct at a retail price point, so your margins are better. That's good. You want to keep track of about how many units per month are you selling and how much profit are they making. This is not nearly as difficult when you go direct, but your volumes are going to be a lot less. And that's why a lot of investors will recommend you go that route at the beginning. But like me, and I know like you, a lot of inventors get wide-eyed and they want to go to Walmart, to Target, or even smaller retailers like Ace Hardware or some local chain, Cabela's, whatever. And those are great opportunities where you think, oh my gosh, but here's what my caution to you. It's like going on safari and hunting an elephant when you've never really even got rabbit or deer. Okay, so some of the advantage of starting small is that you get skilled and equipped and you begin to understand the cash flow cycle so that when the big elephant comes along and you throw your little spears into it, when it drops, it doesn't land right on you and squash you and put you out of business, which it often does. And that's why you will see large retailers like Walmart and others offering some of these entrepreneurial programs to help people understand cash flow statements. Target does it. Some others are doing it because they've inadvertently, accidentally put so many little companies out of business because the inventor did not understand the cash flow statement. So back to the cycle. You've spent 100% of your manufacturing goods. You're out that cash. And now you try to sell it into a big retail store or a small retail store. And that takes you what, 30, 60, 90 days? And then you get the order. Good news. They bought it. And so you send your initial shipment to them and they have not paid you yet because they've not sold it. So if they pay you, let's say they're going to pay you 30 days after the date they receive it, which would be great, unusual. That might be what the contract says, but that 30 days often goes by quickly. And a lot of people pay 30, 60, 90 days. So you're talking about floating cash from the beginning of the manufacturing phase, or certainly when you receive the goods, another 30, 60, 90 days to get the order, and then another 30 days to ship the order, then another 30, 60, 90 days to actually receive cash for the order. That could easily be 6 months that you're floating the cash. And this is why knowing the cash flow is important, because if for one, you don't know that you can support the cash, that you have enough money available to support that cycle, you're going to be in trouble. The other thing is, the better you do, the more cash you need. So let's say best case scenario, your product flies off the store shelves. Everyone loves it. It's a great win. You're thrilled. Guess what that means? You now have to buy another stack of inventory. And here's what happens. A lot of times, best case scenario, when the product is done well, the inventor has been so stressed because they've had to float that cash and they haven't gotten enough to pay themselves, or more worse, they have paid themselves and they paid a lot of other people to do a lot of other things. And it turns out all these other people have made money, including the retailer, but the inventor or the original business entrepreneur is sitting there with nothing because you've paid everyone else. Common strategy, mistake. So, if everything goes well and you need to buy another bank of inventory, so let's say you do that and then maybe you put that on debt, or maybe you get some investors, you buy another bank of product, and let's say that also does well, which is what happened to me with my first product 25 years ago. I sold through in Sam's Club, Cabela's, on QVC. I was in Sports Authority. I was in all the catalogs, and I thought that I was doing great. And it looked to everyone else like I was doing great. But actually what was happening is, prior to that point, I was completely debt-free and I was doing really well financially. With my first business venture, I didn't understand the cash flow statement. And so we ended up having not enough money to buy the next group of inventory. I didn't want to go out and get investors at the time. So we put some of that on debt. And then I thought, oh, well, we'll pay it off in the end of the cycle whenever we get paid, right? But here's what then happened. So the big retailers, they have very strict parameters on how you ship the goods to them. In fact, one retailer, I won't name names, but it was Cabela's, sent me a giant 3-inch thick booklet on exactly how I was to ship my product to them. So, I'm not the most detailed person in the world, but I did try. And in fact, I even hired someone to try. And still, if that barcode was not the exact number of inches away from the corner of the box that giant process spelled out, they would pay me short. They would give me what's called, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's like a chargeback or a deduct for their system having to deal with my improperly marked box. So those deducts really did hurt me. And then they also will do chargebacks, they'll do returns. There's a lot of excuses and reasons they have to pay you less than you originally thought you were going to get. It's just all part of the business cycle. It's not that anybody's doing anything wrong. It's that inventors don't realize this is what's going to happen at the beginning when you're negotiating down your margin because you just want to be in the store. And then you have to go through all of this monumental effort that costs you cash but doesn't actually bring cash in for 6 months. A lot of times you can be stung in the end, even if you're selling. And in fact, the more you sell, the bigger the cash flow problem gets. So what I'm saying is, manage the cash flow statement correctly. Don't try to go too big, too fast. Focus on hitting rabbit direct sales, and then focus on hitting deer, small regional stores around your local geography, or catalogs or drop ship, things like that, to get a feel for the sales, to perfect your marketing strategy. And then when you're ready, move to the elephant and make sure you've saved the money in the bank to be able to fund it, or you have the proper people on your team or the proper resources that are going to make you successful when you do well there. That's my point. Good luck and good inventing. I'm Carrie Jeske, and I look forward to seeing you on the shelves.